Hello, how are you doing? And welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show, where we have the discussions that inform, entertain, and empower educators to be the change. I am your host, Dr. Will, with Wiley. Uh, been knowing him through Voxer and Twitter, and I decided, it's time to bring on a school leader. And today we're going to be talking about bringing and driving digital change in a K through 12 setting. So for those who are watching, Wiley, will you please introduce yourself?
I'm Wiley Brazier the fifth, and I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A little bit about myself. My current role, my official title is what they call a principal on assignment for technology integration. And essentially, in my district, um, I was a principal of one of the top middle schools here, Blue Ribbon School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I bought the first sets of Chromebooks in the district. Uh, from there, we were doing some great things, and our new superintendent came in and decided that he had this technology integration initiative that he wanted to implement. So I then began to do the pilots at a couple of our high schools and at the middle schools, and I've been doing different pilots to grow the program with Chromebooks across the district. And so currently, we have Chromebooks in grades 4 through 9 across the districts. It's a total of about maybe about 20,000 Chromebooks. We're the second largest in the state of Louisiana with a little over 40,000 students in the district. Uh, but my background is all in secondary and high school. So I actually was in Texas for a bit, in Dallas, Texas, opened up a couple of schools there for non-traditional students, some students that are overage, undercredited. And so um, that's kind of like, I guess I would say that's where I began to incorporate technology because we use a lot of blended learning there in order to try to catch them up so that they can graduate by the time they were at least 21, 22. So that's my background. Former science teacher.
Awesome, awesome. So let's begin by defining what do you mean when you say digital leadership?
So in my eyes, digital leadership would be as a school leader, as a district leader, just as a leader in general, using the technology that's available to you in order to try to make your job of leading more efficient, being able to use it to uh, leadership is not necessarily the easiest thing. Yes, when it comes to school and district leadership, it is impacting instructional outcomes and academic outcomes. But how do you do that? There are so many other things that are involved when it comes to leading a school or bringing about change. So daily things down to doing walkthroughs. Okay, I used to have to go around with the clipboard and on pen and paper, writing those things out. Go back to my office, make copies and all of those things. Well, now we have the availability of using a variety of tools in order to use your phone, your iPad, laptops in order to complete walkthroughs so that you can get that instructional feedback to the teachers so that you can have those, say in some cases, those crucial conversations in order to impact those instructional outcomes. That's just one example of, using digital leadership. There are some things that I use now. It was hard for me to keep up with a planner, a little date book. And so my wife had bought me one so that I could write my appointments down and things of that nature. But when I became a principal and I had to be out of the building for a meeting, or if I was out in a classroom or wasn't in the office, someone may want to come back in and meet with me. If I have that planner with me, then my secretary or someone I couldn't leave someone else to make that meeting for me because they may not know my schedule. And so now with the advent of using things like Google Calendar and other resources, it allows the flexibility of sharing calendars so that, it's almost like you can be, everyone's in the know. Not necessarily be in two places at once, but everyone is in the know.
So, how has the digital revolution changed school leadership?
So, I think it's changed it in a variety of ways. Um, I think that it has allowed the ability to shrink the school. Okay, and what I mean by that when I say shrink the school, take the example of professional learning communities. Okay, uh, when I would first implement them as a school leader being prior to being able to utilize some of the digital tools, I would have to always physically be there in order to try to have some administrative presence or have one of my administrators there to have that administrative presence to help kind of hear what the discussion is, if need be, provide whatever support, answer questions, uh, or help guide the conversation if need be. And with with the invent of or with the use of like things like Google Docs, uh, I'm now able to provide an agenda, or the department chair can create the agenda with all of the action items that are going to be discussed. We can have a reporter there who is taking those notes of what is happening in the meeting, and if there's a situation that an administrator can't be present in that meeting for, we can still, when I get back to my office, I can pull up that Google Doc and actually see what they're discussing in real time as well. And if need be, or if I'm off campus, if need be, I can jump on the comments and give a quick little comment, great job, or ask a question that might help spark some additional discussion regarding the topic that they're on, or if they need to get a quick answer, they can type a question in, and I can give that quick response for them as well. And it's not just that, okay, I told this one person and I'm relying on that one person to then relay the message. Well, we've actually let everyone know all at once. So again, everyone is all on the same page. It has really helped uh, to streamline communication in general, in the school and even outside of the school. You know.
So, we all know that schools are very isolated. And even though, schools have these PLCs, and some teams do work well together, but a lot of times, teachers go into their own rooms, their own little silos, their own little United States of Miss Johnson, you know what I'm saying? And they don't work, collaborate, share with other teachers. How do you see Twitter being a tool to connect teachers?
So, so if it weren't for Twitter, you and I might not even be having this conversation right now. You know, and so when you are talking about let's take it back a notch. Starting with just in the school in general, we're talking about just the overall collaboration and being able to break up these silos. Um, when you have new teachers, okay. When I was a new teacher, I got to the school, and I'm fresh out of college. I'm 21. I was a fall graduate, so I got there in the spring semester, and the kids had already had about 7 teachers by the time I got there, right? And here I come, with my hope and a dream in order to change the world. But I know the content, and I have what the school taught me. But now it's time for that on-the-job training and putting that putting that knowledge to use. And so I had to then go try to find teachers, trying to see, hey, look, do you have any resources? Do you have any resources that I can use in order to get my class started, and so on and so forth. Well, many teachers will have are willing to share. But I don't know if you've ever experienced it or not, or ever seen it happen. But some teachers may not, may be a little territorial with their material. And so when talking about collaboration and breaking up silos, even amongst the school, using, like right now, we use like a Google Drive in order to share those resources, especially for new teachers, and really great standards-based and really great teacher-created materials. Those new teachers and teachers in general, not just in that school, but across the district and across other high schools or across other middle schools, across grade levels across the district, can then be able to utilize that in order to replicate some great results that they might be getting in the classroom over at school A. And then, I'm gonna tell you, you already know the power of social media, Twitter. It really just amplifies that. Um, Going back to that example of making the school smaller, making the district smaller, Twitter just it shrinks the whole world. I can uh, put a tweet out or ask for some feedback on a particular topic, or reach out to the national principal of the year and get his thoughts on, hey, look, I'm faced with this at my school. What are you doing in your school in order to address this issue? Are you experiencing this? What have you done? And so it just really empowers. It just really empowers all educators. Here in Louisiana, I actually co-founded the hashtag LA Ed Chat, which is our Louisiana online educational chat community for educators. And so we now have the ability to be able to bring great teachers from New Orleans to Shreveport and have them connecting around this topic of either standards-based instruction or whatever the topic is on that day. But not just these teachers and educators in the city, but when we talk about those rural areas and those suburban areas, they are, we sometimes we fail to understand or fail to really realize how secluded they may be. You might have a whole district that's two schools, or a whole district that's one school, K-12, with 100 kids in the whole school. Who are those teachers able to connect with and learn with if you only have one teacher per grade level? Who are they collaborating with? And so I see social media with Twitter and Facebook. They have all the different Facebook groups that you can become a part of as a really, really valuable tool. I haven't really gotten off into. I'm starting that Snapchat thing, but I'm trying to get with the young folks. I'm trying to get some of my son, some of these young high school students to kind of get me hip onto the Snapchat and see how we can use that educationally as well too. And of course, what do the kids say? They do it for the brand.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm on Instagram, but I took the app off my phone. It's an interesting place to be. Yeah, it's an interesting place to be. So I don't spend a lot of time there. I'm mostly a fan of LinkedIn. LinkedIn got some great stuff. So I love LinkedIn, and it's more definitely a professional site for me to connect with people for that next level. Because at this point, at my age, my level of experience, I'm looking at that next level job for the next level money. Definitely. And not Instagram, oh my gosh. LinkedIn actually has that space where the people are there. Now, I want to throw this out there to you because you spoke about the chat and how things are happening in Louisiana. And earlier you mentioned, the thousands of devices that have been rolled out at your school. See, normally, people, when they think of the South, ed tech ain't what, is not what comes to people's mind. And I had someone on my show from, North Carolina, and I was like, well, that's like Watercress South. And I said, you're in Louisiana, Mississippi, that's cornbread South. Like, that's just deep, none fancy. Yeah, none fancy around here. Now, I mean, you have New Orleans, which, there is a very metropolitan international city, Louisiana, but we don't have that here. But can you speak to the leaps, the bounds, awesome things that are happening within the state of Louisiana when it comes to educational technology.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. So, um, I have to commend our state superintendent, John White, and his team at the LDOE because they actually recently um, released was it earlier this year or late last year, the technology readiness standards for our state. And if you go on the state website, LouisianaBelieves.com, you will be able to look at the technology readiness standards. And so they have been broken down by grade level from K all the way to 12. You know, basics of what concepts, what the students are able or should be able to do with regard to a computer. And you know, it really surprised me some of the things that were there. You know, we had things like in the third grade, kids should be able to know how to troubleshoot basic software problems, you know. But it actually gives a really great guide in order to, you know, you know, I know we have the term librarians, you know, and they are an essential part if you use them correctly and if you have a really great one on your team, you know, because I don't know if they're going by librarians or media specialists. I mean, I know there's a debate as to which one is which, and different people prefer uh, either term. But in our state, we use our librarians in a variety of ways in order to play a great role in helping kids to learn how to uh, type at very early ages. You know, putting them on things like Typing Club and a few other different programs. In addition, they use that ancillary time in order to help them to learn how to code. My youngest son, his school, you know, they have some phenomenal librarians as well as, you know, both my sons, they have phenomenal librarians and throughout our district we do. But some of the things that they do are just uh, helping to make an impact on my children at an early age. So then, you know, whereas I'm a tech guy at home and we, you know, code and make movies and, you know, using the iPad and all of that stuff at home, you know, they're reinforcing things that I'm trying to instill in them at home. Whereas some of those other kids who may not have that technology savvy parent at home, they're still able to get some of those skills. But I mean, across our state, got we just formed that formal partnership with Google so that, you know, hey, it is they signed that MOU to make sure that everything is all on the up and up. You know, and unless some of the rules be something people can handle, you know, some of these third party vendors in general. But I think we are making some really great gains. One thing that we're doing in our district right now is that we are trying to increase the number of, because we are a Google Apps for Education or G Suite district. I'm also a Google certified trainer. And so we're trying to increase the number of uh, Google certified educators in our district. And so we have a variety of ways that we're doing that, everything from on site training to virtual training to boot camps to uh, trying to incorporate uh, different learning pathways based on their job in the district. I think one thing that is essential, and this may not be exactly on that particular question, but I think we underestimate the role of modeling the technology or modeling at least the use of it. So as a school leader, you know, yes, I'm a leader, but we are constantly learning and we should model that lifelong learning as well for our teachers because especially if you know, our districts are going 1-to-1, right? So especially if I'm the leader at this school and I'm expecting teachers, you know, they're getting all of these different devices, all of their kids are getting all of these devices, and we want them to be able to now implement those and integrate those devices into the classroom lesson to impact that instruction. You know, I should also, respecting them to learn more, I should also, if I also, I don't say I'm not, I should, but yes, I say I should. But if I also model that same philosophy by, hey, especially if I'm not a tech savvy principal, those are the ones that can really get the most, uh, the best response from their staff if they try to do it. If the staff knows that, hey, our principal really isn't, but even he is giving it a try, then hey, or she is giving it a try, then hey, let me give it a try as well. And so it's kind of like we're all, being that true learning leader and learning together.
Awesome, awesome. So I love what you're talking about. But now I want to ask you about this.
What's that?
You're modeling. You're doing these things, and education is shifting. And when you're in a school like yours or ours or many others around the country where, I mean, there are thousands of devices in the classrooms in the hands of students,
Yes.
and you have teachers who they don't want to be bothered, right? They don't want PD. They don't want to teach with it. They don't want their students to use it. Uh, as an administrator, how do you coach them up, lead them to make that shift without you having to write a discrepancy form to get them out of there? Because I know firing people is not the best way to do because you can't fire everybody.
Yes.
So so how do you uh, work with them in order to not only make them feel comfortable in using the technology, but in ways in which they grow in using the technology?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really, really good question. So, what, of course, modeling it, and hopefully they will be able to see that, hey, this person is modeling, and so maybe I can give it a try as well. But at the same time, we have to provide the support from a variety of levels. You have to give them that support, okay, and you have to give them opportunity to implement, okay. And when I say support, that support looks different for different people because just like in our classrooms, how we have our low, middle, and high kids, when it comes to our school staffs and districts. We have, when it comes to technology use and familiarity, there's low, middle, and high levels of familiarity and use. You might have some who think, oh my God, technology just doesn't like me. And so we still have to support that person as well in a different area or in a different way that another one might need it. So having a multifaceted approach to that support, I think, is what's beneficial. And so, going back to what I was saying earlier, having a virtual way in order to provide PD, whether it's through uh, screencasts or another some type of learning management platform, um, or being able to use a blended approach where for myself, I actually like to go to the campus because yes, we have our virtual approach. So when I go to the campus to show up, I like, people still like to see someone, right? You know, like, you might not be able to just sit on the computer and listen to it and, oh my God, this is, boring me to death or whatever the case may be. And so I like to make sure that I'm there on the campus with them so that I can look into their eyes, they can look into my eyes. They can't ask that video a question. They can rewind the video, but they can't ask it a question uh, uh, based on how they think they want to implement it. Okay, and so when I show up on campuses, I like to make sure uh, that I give, I pitch it in a way that they feel like it makes their job easier. Okay, and so if I feel like, it's like medicine. Okay, if this medicine might taste terrible, but guess what? It's good for me. It's gonna make me feel better. Okay, and so my mama used to mix it up in some Kool-Aid and doing all this other stuff, trying to make it taste good in order to get it in my body so it can do my body some good, you know. And so I try to make sure that I would recommend to others that they take those people, pitch it in a way that is appeasing to them, and then also provide real real resources that they can implement quickly. Okay, so whether that be um, showing English teachers how they showing teachers how they might be able to use Google Docs to grade using a rubric faster, or showing teachers how to use Google Forms to create automated assessments so that they can get some of that grading, so they can spend less time grading and more time reteaching, because they've already gotten the immediate feedback on what those kids have mastered and not mastered based on the standards. Those types of things will really, um, if teachers get quick wins, they begin to feel empowered, like, oh man, hey, stick your chest out a little bit more, I might be able to do this thing, I might be able to do this, this technology, I thought it was okay, but this technology is not so bad. It's helping make my job easier, and at the same time, it's helping to engage my students more and help them achieve at higher levels. So, we have to just provide a variety of ways. We have to provide a multifaceted approach to uh, to learning and to learning this technology.
Awesome, awesome. So, with any positive change, now the question becomes, how do we scale it? Because I have, I can point to teachers, even in my own district. I go, okay, those are my stars. All right. They're at a point now where they know their why, they have their blended learning routine down. I just need to spend, just some time with them to kind of catch up, asking them, hey, how can I help you out? And it may be just, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Do you have anything new for me? But then there's those other teachers that, again, they're not there. So when you're saying I'm trying to scale the successes that I have sporadically throughout my building, how do scale that to where now you can spread that genius to everyone else?
So I think that for those types of individuals, you all in any scenario, you're gonna have your innovators, and then you're gonna have your laggards. Those you just gotta you gotta push them through. And so you take those that have demonstrated that they are rocking and rolling, and even those, like you said, they have all their routines together. They might ask you a couple of questions here and there, but you take those and you begin to use them to help train others. Okay. So then if you are, if they don't always have to come see you. Okay. Or you don't have to always see them. They might be tired of hearing it from you a different, that way, or a couple of different ways. Okay. But their colleague down the hall, who they have a different relationship with, may then be able to they might say the same exact thing. It's kind of like your children sometimes. I don't know if you have kids or not. It's kind of like the children. I can be telling them something all day long. Boy, this is it, this is it, this is it. And I can keep telling them, but then someone else tells them the exact same thing that you just told them. And then, hey, it now it clicks. Now it clicks. And so it could be that same thing. And so with that person who has it all together, that will give them some sense of, or that many times give them some sense of being valued. And we all like a little ego stroke every now and then, right? So that may give them that opportunity to lead in a different way as well. And so now you're growing leaders within your school or within your districts, and then at the same time, that person that's in that classroom that they're teaching may ask them a question that make them think a little harder on how to do it, or give a different a different scenario of how they can use or refine what they are already doing in their classroom. And so now you have iron sharpening iron to a certain degree, you know. So that's one way to be able to scale. That's one reason why we're trying to get a lot more who certified people in our district, because at least if you can use the tools, then you'll be able to at least do the basics, you know.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So now, before we go, what is your advice for those administrators who the technology is coming, they know it's coming, and maybe they had no say in it. Maybe the superintendent just said, "Hey, John, I'm about to give you 5,000 Chromebooks, boy. Get ready for it." And mentally, they haven't made or come to grips with it, because for some people, instruction is a teacher sitting up there talking for 40 minutes, talking for 50 minutes. Here's a worksheet, kids writing, taking notes. That is what solid instruction is for them. And quite honestly, there are some districts around the country where teachers teach like that, and they're blowing the lid off of state tests, right? They're killing it. And they're even asking, "What do you see what I'm doing right there? I'm saying, I'm blue ribbon, baby. Do you see what I'm doing? Well, why are you coming to me, with the technology?" For those administrators, can you speak to them as to why it is important for their school to become a modern school? Because I don't like to say 21st century, because we've been in 21st century for a long time.
Yes.
So this ain't nothing new right now. This is like right now type skills.
Yes.
So what do you say to that administrator who said, "Look, right? Your score by if we're judging this by test scores, dude, I congratulate you. You got it. But what your students are missing is they're missing experience with these tools. They're missing things to prepare them for that next level." Holler at them right quick.
Yeah. So for the first person who I want to make sure we don't really have to address the person that doesn't have the resources or is at a lower grade level or lower letter grade at their school, because they want technology to be able to use it. For the most part, they need resources. But with those schools who, whether you're in our state, we have letter grades. So even at an A grade, that one reason I purchased those Chromebooks at the school uh, was was because just of what you just mentioned. Yes, we may be blowing the top off the test, but at the same time, there are many skills that the students have not grasped. So there are those content based standards that, yes, that you have to have for social studies, you have to have for chemistry, you have to have for all of these different areas. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But we have to continually develop our kids holistically and not just have them being able to just solve a problem. Okay, solve a worksheet. Okay, but they can then be. We need to be able to create, uh, uh, have the students the ability to be able to think on a larger scale. Because here in Baton Rouge and here in Louisiana, I mean, this is just one place. Many of our kids are going to, which we need to prepare our kids to compete globally, and so we want to try to put them on the same platform or give them the level playing field as those kids, not just here in Baton Rouge or just here in Louisiana, not even just here in the United States. We are trying to make sure that they have the skills they need in order to be able to go to Asia or take jobs in Singapore or wherever their dreams, wherever their talents, wherever their skills, wherever there is a demand for their job. And when we're talking about the types of jobs that they will have the ability to pursue, it will be, there'll be an abundance more of opportunities and even new fields and careers and jobs that are available when they graduate as opposed to when you and I graduated. Prime example, things like, if, when we graduated high school, there was no such job as a social media marketer. You know, it's like people would have been looking at you like, what is that? You know, but people are getting paid very well for that type of job. Right now, we have things like, cyber engineering, cyber security. Many people are still trying to grasp or wrap their head around this concept, but that, those are jobs that are going to continually be in high demand with, and we need to make sure that we have the supply of employees that are willing to meet that demand. And of course, you already know the, basic economics, there's a high demand and low supply. Of course, that job is going to be paying a whole lot more if there's only a limited amount of people that can do that job. And so we want to make sure that we're not just looking out for the school and its current letter grade and its best interest at the current time. We want to make sure that we are growing our city, our state, our country's future leaders and our country's future workforce holistically. The other thing I would tell those A-rated and those top schools or any administrator at any institution, you have a variety of tools that you can use to help make your particular job easier as well. Okay, so things like Remind, used to be Remind 101. You can use a lot of those things for great parent communication, making sure that you get that information out to the parents in a timely manner. You can also now, Remind's come a long way. You can add attachments, you can add photos, you can put those links, to parents in just with the click of a few buttons on your cell phone. You have things like what we're on right now, Google Hangouts. Doing a Hangouts on air or a YouTube live is a great way. That's one thing I've been working with some of our administrators in our district. We're doing here for years. We've been doing the announcements over the phone and the PA system in the school. And so you might have a good percentage or a certain percentage of your kids listening, but then working with them in order to take it more to a video announcement. So now you have not only their audio attention, but you have their visual attention as well. And so they're now more engaged and paying more attention. And in addition, you can, of course, do so many more things to showcase your kids using the video announcements as opposed to just the audio announcements. Communication with parents, again, it's just a variety of tools that you can use for your kids, for yourself. I can go on and on and on. We can be here for a long time. Utilizing Google Classroom with your staff. Putting all of your staff in Google Classroom yourself. Been working with our one of our principals here. He happened to actually be the elementary state principal of the year, and he actually I really admire him because he's actually taking that approach that, okay, if I'm expecting the teachers to begin utilizing these tools with their kids, then I need to be modeling it. And he has been utilizing it with his teachers. So he has all of them in the Google Classroom himself, and he sends out everything from the data sheets that they need to do to his weekly newsletter to walk through feedback. It's no, it can help alleviate the needs for so many meetings and everything as well. Some things you can just send out through a Google Classroom. You can even use pull up a quick little YouTube video. If you're going in classrooms this week looking for a particular standard, you know, higher order thinking questions, you know, we're working on instructional questioning strategies this week. If you're utilizing Google Classroom, you can send out a quick little link or a quick little video. Hey, check out this little example of some great strategies for higher order thinking. Put a little Google form with it and have them do some reflections of some strategies that they saw in the video that they might implement that week. You know, so just overall professional development in general. I mean, there are just so many reasons why your kids can. It will help grow your kids, help grow your staff, and help grow you as a professional individual in this era that we are in today, because it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Prices are coming down. Chromebooks are now less than $200 a pop. So, so they are here, and I'm sure whatever next technology that comes along, it will be implemented with just as rigor and vigor as it is today.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you again, Wiley, for being a guest on the show.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me, Dr. Will.
You're welcome anytime, anytime. People, you know how I do. This is going to go up on the blog. I'm going to put this on LinkedIn. I'm going to tweet this out. This is going to be on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel. And for those who like to work out, you got to commute. This is going to be on SoundCloud and iTunes. So review it on review it on iTunes. So as always, people, invest in you, EDU. Peace.